Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another Friday, another casual champion review. It's Jinx time. The question is, what kind of Jinx am I playing today? I think, maybe no. You know what? No, we're doing the Nithin special. I already took Dark Harvest. We're going fully Thoughty Jinx because I think it's funny. It's kind of funny because we've had Jin. And then Jinx, and then next episode is Kaisa, and then it's Kalista. There's like 480 carries in a row. Next week is Cassante, actually. For some reason, only in the League of Legends client does Kaisa come first, but everywhere else it's Cassante, so we're gonna do Cassante next. You know what else is kind of crazy? Fan art section. Look at those goobers. I was kind of overwhelmed by the sheer amount of Jin that there was last week, which, granted, I think it's one because it's Jin, very popular champ, but this week there's also been a plethora of Cass fan art from my Cass video. Thank you, folks. It's all wonderful, both Jinx and Cass. The Cass fan art will be at the end of the video, like the usual outro section. But you guys are awesome, amazing, make my day. Thank you, folks. You're awesome. I'm not really sure how this lane's gonna go, considering I'm fighting Yasuo. Oh, he dipped his hair in lime juice. So what's kind of funny about Jinx is I know there's a lot of people who came to League of Legends or came to the League of Legends universe from Arcane and are a bit confused because so many of the characters' backstories are so different from one another, especially if you look at Victor, for example. Victor's unrecognizable in his league state. But Jinx is interesting in that I feel of all the champions that are in Arcane, she is the one that's going to make the transition of Arcane being canon the smoothest. And that's mainly because her biography doesn't really explain much. Most of her biography is just what she's doing now. The most of what we know back in Jinx's early years is that she was just some little girl from Zaun, once a wide-eyed innocent, and she grew up to be this crazy maniac. Really, none of her bio explains her backstory or where she came from or really in depth what she was like or any kind of relation she had before. So working in Arcane, which is all of those things, her backstory, where she came from, what her connections are, it easily works into the main league canon. Although it does make the mystery of why she likes to mess with Vi so much a bit less mysterious. But as for her actual lore, like I said, she was just... People know that she was some random innocent girl from Zaun that grew up to become a crazy maniac that originally liked just pranking people. Like she'd swap all the street signs or be a nuisance to law enforcement, and eventually she released a whole bunch of animals from a zoo. That's, if you guys remember the Get Jinx music video with the rhino, which... I guess normal rhinos are canon in Runeterra. And the people of Piltover didn't really know if she had any kind of motivation. Just that she was causing chaos wherever she went. Yes! Oh! She became jealous of the other punk gangs in Zaun were being credited with her crimes. I did all that stuff. Why am I getting credited? So she made sure for every other future scheme that she would leave a signature mark, usually using her trademark explosives that she created herself, or graffiti, which is why you see a lot of graffiti in her music video and LOR level up and stuff. It's kind of core to her character. Many of these crimes were targeted at a specific individual, Piltover's newest law enforcer, Vi, which, for the time, people didn't know why that was the case, why she's specifically targeting her. It's just she likes to mess with her. She liked to mess with Vi so much so that upon revealing her biggest plan yet to rob Piltover's most secure treasury, the Ecliptic Vaults, she in fact left a detailed explanation of how and when she was going to do it. Ooh. Along with leaving not so flattering graffiti art of Vi. And the day arrived, the wardens prepared alongside Caitlyn and Vi to protect the vaults from Jinx's inevitable attack. They think, oh, maybe she's messing with us. Maybe she won't have the guts to show up. Turns out she had the guts to show up. She'd been there for 2 days. She smuggled herself in through a giant crate and burst out and destroyed the vault. Took a bunch of gold with her. And, you know, I bet they felt pretty stupid that day. He wouldn't win wall this, right? Maybe. I hit him in base. Rats. He's still here? Jinx is still at large to this day, inspiring other Zaunite chem punks to follow in her footsteps, even though she kind of just ignores them, as we saw in Convergence. She doesn't really care about having a following. She just likes causing chaos. That's her passion. That's just it. Nobody really knows if she has any kind of true motivation or true goal and why she likes to fool around with Vi so much. I mean, it's kind of ruined now. We know exactly why she targets Vi specifically. And that's really where her story ends. She's appeared in very, very many other forms of Riot Media. gotcha. A ton of cinematics, a bunch of extra short stories. There was that comic with Ziggs that's probably not canon anymore, but I kind of like the contrast. Both of them like causing explosions and general destruction, but Ziggs likes it more for the spectacle of the destruction itself. He doesn't like to actually hurt people. Jinx, on the other hand, yeah, she relishes in hurting people. An interesting thing to note, I think, about Jinx, specifically in regards to her connection with Vi, is it was always hinted at. She has that one voice line which is like, oh, you think I'm crazy? You should see my sister. But that was only a hint that maybe she's talking about Vi. Now everyone knows that they're sisters, but back then it wasn't confirmed. It was just a theory. A game. I hate this guy. Why'd I have to pick a champion completely based around long-range skill shots with two characters that have wind walls? But the whole notion of Jinx and Vi being sisters was just a theory back in the day, only confirmed until recently with Arcane. And like I said earlier, it's actually going to be completely fine when Arcane becomes canon, or their attempts to make Arcane canon, because Jinx's backstory is left pretty much untouched. Oh, because Jinx never had a backstory, it's going to be super easy. They have to change Vi a little bit. Vi, we know a little bit more about her backstory, so try and work that in a little bit. But as far as we have right now, this present version of Jinx is her present, and Arcane is her past, so works out perfectly. Although I do have to say it's a little weird because we'll have season 2 to go off of this, but in season 1, it kind of ended on a bit of somber note. We know Jinx for being this crazy, evil, maniacal person, kind of energetic in that way. Granted, it's because she just watched her father figure die for like a third time. But seeing this chaos maker as more of a, I guess it's ended a bit of a somber note, this kind of sad, depressed Jinx. And I don't know how that's going to work. Hey, Brand! You know what rhymes with brand? Bitch. So I'm not sure how they're going to work that around. If in season 2 she's going to become a lot more crazy like her League counterpart, but it might conflict with the storytelling. I don't know. As for Jinx's design, she is, a lot of people have pointed out that she is League's version of Harley Quinn, and you know, the kind of checkerboard pattern psycho girl with all kinds of crazy contraptions. I could kind of see it. I think they made a death battle about that, actually. Is death battle still a thing? I know Rooster Teeth just shut down. Are they safe? I don't know. Jinx released at an interesting time, not just because of League, but because of gaming as a whole. Pretty much every single female champion was the same hourglass body shape. I should probably not be doing this. You know, nowadays we have stuff like Kiana or Illaoi or Talia and stuff, but when Jinx released, the idea of making a female video game character flat-chested? Are you crazy? Do you know how much money you're gonna lose by doing that? And then she became basically League of Legends' mascot. I think the thing I like most about how Jinx looks is that it's controlled chaos, you know? She has these, oh my goodness, she has these braids that give that semblance of structure, but they're so long, they're kind of unwieldy. She has symmetrical clothes for the most part, but they're all mismatched in terms of color. She's pale as can be. She has these tattoos all over her body. It's interesting that she both simultaneously looks like someone who deeply cares about how she presents herself, because she's trying to make a mark. She's trying to make sure that everyone knows that she's the crime leader behind it all, but also someone who doesn't care about her health or her appearance at all. Oh my, that is a bear. That is not my teammate. She also has these kind of childish mannerisms about her that she names her own weapons, you know, Pow Pow and Fish Bones. Flame Choppers, that's her traps, right? She almost treats them as imaginary friends of sort. Oh, Bran, don't do that. Oh, Keegan. Oh, you sweet summer child. Bye, bitch. What good's farm? I want kills. Speaking of killing, her gameplay, I think, suits this whole personality really well. It kind of gives that element, again, of controlled chaos. Like an ADC, she has to keep calm and composed with her kiting and her auto attacks, but her switching between all these different guns, using all these different elaborate gadgets, and the get excited mechanic. She can turn fully chaotic and insane on a whim. It's only that I think she is actually a pinnacle example of what an ADC should be. It's a long-ranged damage dealer that scales into the late game with consistent DPS that you have to target to stop from killing your entire team, but if you do catch them, they don't have any mobility to escape and die very quickly. That's exactly what I think an ADC should be. I think that's probably why she's so popular. She encapsulates the whole thematic pretty much perfectly. I don't even know how that hit, but I'm not going to take no for an answer. Die, bear. That actually brings it to another thing. The fact that Jinx is in 2x KO, I think, is so perfect. One, because she is a mascot for the game. It makes sense. She would be there. But I think incorporating ADCs into 2x KO is going to be very difficult because they're all range-based champions. You know, try to put Lucian in there, for example. It's going to be weird. All he does is shoot things. But with Jinx, I mean, look at her. She's using her gun as a pogo stick. I think she actually has an attack that she does that in the game. But Jinx makes sense to me as the ADC because not only does she have all these gadgets besides just her gun, but Jinx would be insane enough to have a ranged advantage against you. She has a gun, and instead she uses it to clobber you over the head. I think actually she's not even just become a mascot of League. I think she is the mascot of Wild Rift. Like when people think of Wild Rift the game, she's been in like every cinematic. She's the cover art for it. She is the main character of Wild Rift at this point. I think canonically, she created Wild Rift out of spite. As for skins, I think she has quite a few good ones. I'm partially fond of Zombie Slayer because, I mean, it's just, I love the Zombie Slayer skin. Oh, Odyssey, oh, it's great. I love the spin on her character that they have in Odyssey. I love Arcane Jinx because I just love the Arcane design. Star Guardian Jinx, I know I made a top 10 best skins of all time video, and a lot of people said, how the hell did you put Star Guardian Nico Prestige Edition as one of your favorite skins of all time? And on further inspection, that's mainly because I have Nico bias, because I do like Nico a lot. Die Yasuo. But if I were to redo that list, and I think I might actually, let me know if you fellas would like to see me do more stuff like that. Best skins or worst skins in the game. But upon further reflection, yeah, Jinx is clearly the winner there. Star Guy and Jinx is just such an excellent reinterpretation of the character. That's a really nice thing, that Jinx is such a iconic character to League. And yet, in pretty much every skin she has, they try and reinvent her. It's why her weaker skins don't do that. Like I don't really like Havoc Cuties. I think that was weird. 2, 3, just like Jin. Just like Jin. I'm not really sure what else to say about Jinx, except that I'm quite happy she's one of the game's mascots. I mean, Yasuo's there for the edgelords, and Teemo is there for the people who like the cute, furry fluffball things. Obviously, she's not the best when she's meta, but that's every other champion. Every ADC that's ever meta is obnoxious to play against. But Jinx, I think she's more on the better side. I'd prefer when she's meta over someone like Kai'Sa, because Jinx can't dash without killing somebody, or go invisible, or gain a 300 HP. Oh god, I have to play Kai'Sa next week. God damn it. That is not who I was aiming for. Well, thank you, fellas, for coming by this week's Casual Champion Review. Next week, we have to talk about Kai'Sa.
Actually, it's Kasate.
Oh, I'm not looking forward to that. So, thank you, fellas. I'll see you in the next one, okay? Goodbye.